Every time I film, there are 10 airplanes. One. We're just going to sit here and count until all 10 airplanes go by. I got a question on the QA survey, and it is, how do I find my purpose? What is my ultimate purpose here in this life? What am I supposed to be doing? In this video, I'm going to tackle that question with a story format that should help you along your journey, and a couple questions at the end to really help you settle into that and really understand your purpose. What's up, Game Changers? Sherman here from Geek Psychology, helping you find your true character and level it up so you can play life better. Why do we seek our purpose? It's a big question. For me, it's just that feeling of knowing that you are existing to the level that you have to exist. Like, whatever your potential is. If you don't know your purpose, it feels like you can't achieve that. If you don't know your purpose, then by the end of your life, when you look back, you're just like, well, did I do the right thing? Was I supposed to actually be doing this? And if you have any regret about that, I can't imagine how bad that would feel to regret your direction in your life. So in this video, we're also going to bring in Dan Harmon's story circle. Why? Because I just love the hero's journey. I love Dan Harmon's story circle, and I love attaching it to life. So let's talk a little bit about it. First, in any story, even in any cycle of your life or in the larger picture of your life, I really do believe that there are parallels to the hero's journey. So first, you start out in this zone of comfort. It's just your everyday life. It's just what things are. You might be sitting at home a lot watching TV. You might be going out there doing things. But at the start of the journey, there is that, it's just that point, right? This is the daily life. This is what I do, right? I go to work, I come home. It's just how things always are. And at some point, there's a need or a want. There's something that you got to do, something that you want to do, something that's calling you. So in this version of it, we're just talking about exploring our purpose. So you have your standard, your daily life, then you go into, I need to find my purpose. And so you cross the threshold, you go into the unknown, you go into this unfamiliar situation where you're exploring your life, you're putting yourself out there, you're putting yourself in different contexts to understand more about how you work, so you can know that you can acclimate to new situations and you can cope with them, and gaining more confidence and self-efficacy and conviction about your drives, your goals, what you're trying to do. And as you've crossed into that new world, you struggle. You fall down, you get back up. There are trials, there are tribulations, there are boons and banes and all these things happening. You're learning, and you're getting beat down too, because it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult process, which I'll give you some questions on later to help you figure it out. Eventually, through all that learning, all those lessons, you find what you wanted. You find your purpose because you have adapted to what has happened through this. You've adapted to this new world, this expanded comfort zone. You find what you wanted, which is your purpose. It's a sense of life. It's knowing more about your identity as well, and gaining the capabilities and the behaviors and things along the way helped you understand that. So when you found it, there is that price to pay where, okay, now I know why I'm here. I know my strengths. I know my skills. Now I gotta do it. Oh man, there's a lot of pressure now, but also there's the potential that I have to realize that. And so from there, you take that struggle. You lose your old identity, right? You can't play small anymore if you know what your destiny is, Neo. as the one, right? Like, that's a lot of pressure. But you got to rise up to it. And because you've gained all these skills and you've had all these experiences, if you've taken the loot from them, then you're able to do that more easily. And you go back into your previous life, you go back to your family, you go back to whatever situation it is, and things just don't feel motivating anymore because you have changed, right? And you've changed the environment, you've changed the situation. And with that, you share those gifts and you begin the cycle again. So that's Dan Harmon's story circle, kind of connected to purpose. The problem here is a lot of us, we don't cross that threshold, myself included. There are areas in my life where I haven't done it yet. There are areas where I have, just like you, but there are these places that we need to, that they have their own story arc, and we need to get out there and we need to put ourselves out there and do it. But it's scary. But we have this need. We just need to think about all the lessons that we're going to learn. So how I've found my purpose, not intentionally, but this is the process that happened. I put myself out there into a lot of uncomfortable circumstances. And looking back, I had a question that I was able to connect the dots. And I had another question that I was able to connect the dots. Okay? So I'm going to give you those two questions right now. I want you to list out the experiences and the answers to the questions to the best of your ability. Connect the dots. And then use that to fuel your actions to get you into the next zone, into the next area, and the next level of your life. So the two questions here, the first one is, when have you felt the most alive? And the second is, when do you feel like you are expanding? Like your identity is not just you, it's not the ego, it's everything. So as a brief run through for my experience, just so you can do it along with me if that helps. When have I felt the most alive? I went back and it was when I first came to Japan. I was working on the Michigan boat, which is this like restaurant boat that went around the biggest lake in Japan. And I was kind of this like entertainer, doing the monkey dance and stuff, but I was making people feel good. I was entertaining them. I was talking to them, giving them a new experience of reality. Another experience was the World Exposition. I was working as a United States representative, entertaining, again, 300 plus people at a time, which was really difficult until I just accepted it as what I had to do. And then I did it, and it was a great experience for me. I remember the exact moment where my mind switched and I just did it. It wasn't easy, but I crossed that threshold. And making the people feel good was a great experience for me. It was something that changed my life. It didn't have to be on this massive macro level, but each person, giving them the attention and the care, made me feel good. Another one is my wedding. On my wedding day, I remember looking out and seeing all these people from all different walks of life, all different, potentials coming up, and different countries, different experiences, and noticing who wasn't there. And that was a moment where I knew within me there was different parts that worked together and didn't work together, and falling outs, and had to build those up and gain rapport with all these different parts of myself. And each person is going through that as well. And also my daughter's birth. I think any father would say that if they had a daughter, maybe a son, their child's birth. And looking at it and just appreciating who she was and the experience and what is to come for her. So the connecting theme of all those is helping people, is admiring each person for their struggle and admiring the parts of each situation, right? The crowd can be split into many different people, and each person can be split into many different parts. And sharing that and exploring that really felt like part of my purpose. The next question, what makes you expand? What makes you feel this expansive sense of identity? Well, for me, this is connected to personality type, and I believe it is for everybody. You just need to know your personality type and know your cognitive functions. But this feeling of supporting people, of bonding, connecting to people on a one-on-one level, even if it's a shared experience, and helping guide them to be more connected to their emotions, their feelings, who they are, their identity, being more authentic to themselves, is something that has been very important to me. And especially now that I have the language for it. So that's my dominant function. Also my auxiliary function. I've always just loved connecting ideas and exploring possibilities in imagined space and in real space. Just wondering what could be out there and what if this happens. And so connecting both of those together, helping people explore themselves, has been a big part of my purpose. And there's no specific profession, I believe, that's necessary to fulfill your purpose. But it's more of like a walk of life. It's who you are and what you do, and the aura, the energy that you put out there, and the conviction that you have with yourself. So thank you for watching this video, for exploring your purpose with me. Please answer those questions. Spend some time on it, however long it takes, to connect the dots of those experiences. When have you felt the most alive? And when and what makes you feel like you have expanded? What makes you expand instead of contract? Please let me know down below in the comments if this video helped, what you learned from it, what you learned about yourself. And if you're interested in more videos like this, check them out over there. Personal coaching, geekpsychology.com, or inowfeelpositive.com. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.